Hey guys, welcome to video number 8. In this one we're going to be designing our banner ads in Photoshop. So we just finished up designing our ebook covers. Obviously if you have a product launch or something something like that coming up, you're going to need banner ads as well. That's one of the first things your JVs are going to ask you to see. So like I just said, in addition to your e-covers, you are going to need banners. Banners come in all different kinds of sizes. You can have upwards, I've seen up to 20 different sizes. You obviously don't need 20 banners on your JV page. That's a little too much. So we're actually going to be focusing just on 5 here. But let's take a look at some banner sizes. We have 920 by 250. That means 970 pixels in width by 250 pixels in height. We have 970 by 90. We have 728 by 90. There's 468 by 60, 336, and all the rest you see in front of you right now. Like I said before, we're only going to be creating 5 different sizes because I don't want to hold you guys for too long. Okay, so cool. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into Photoshop. This is what we're going to be creating. This one's the 970 by 250. And as you can see, obviously everything's still the same in terms of the design of our banner. It goes with the design of the book. The font is still the same. The text, the pattern, the colors are obviously still the same because it's the same design. And that's very important when you're designing graphics. Make sure everything is congruent and everything looks the same. All right, so this is what we're going to be creating. I'll just go ahead, and I already created it here, but I'll just do it again. Let me close this. I'll go to File, New. Do RGB. I'll do 970 by 250. 72 resolution is fine. We don't need anything too high quality. This is a banner after all. Alright, so now we have a blank canvas here. What I'm going to do is draw my background on right now. So I'll actually just delete this white background. This checkered pattern means there's nothing there. It's transparent. You're looking at nothing. So what I'll do is click U on my keyboard to bring up the shape tool, or I could have just clicked it right here. I'm going to click the rectangle because I want to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to draw starting from the top left. I'm going to drag down to the bottom right. Alright, and I'll just make sure I'm depending again on my purple guidelines to assure me that I'm within the bounds of this thing here. Okay, that's nice and perfect. I'm going to press U on my keyboard one more time. I'm going to come up here to fill. Fill means the color inside of this. As it is right now, all we're seeing is just an outline, right? Just the gray outline. What I'm going to do is come up here to fill, and I'm going to select just a random color because we're actually going to be changing the color to the green, but I just want to have a fill in here, and no stroke, no outline. Stroke means the border, the outline. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit and come over here and copy the color of this background. So I'm going to come over here, color overlay, copy, come back over here. I'm going to double click this. Again, we're not double clicking the text because that's going to bring up the rename tool. I'm going to double click just the random gray part here. Color overlay, and I'm going to paste in that color. Looks like it was already pasted in. Enter, enter, boom. That is our background. And we should rename it right now to background. Boom. Again, duplicate, because now what I want to do is create my border, that blue border. Right? I'm going to Control J on my keyboard, rename it right away. Border. Now, only difference here is I want to so with this one, we have a fill but no stroke. With the border, I want a stroke but no fill. Let me show you what I mean. So it's supposed to be 5. Looks like it's 5. Let's see how thick the border on this one is. Yeah, it's 5 points. So let's make this one 5 points as well. And the fill, I'm going to turn it off by selecting this little box here, the one all the way to the left, no color for the fill. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and copy the color of the border. That light blue, and then I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to paste that in. As you can see, we now have our border above the background just how we like it, just how we want it. All right. Next, what we're going to be doing is let's go ahead and create the button. Now, as you can see, this button, there's like a little darker part of it behind it, and that's just a shadow I created. And again, there are multiple ways to do this. I could actually just put a shadow on it, and I'd do that by creating a drop shadow right here. I'd be able to put an actual shadow on this guy here, but I don't want to do it this way. So I did it in a different way, and what I did was sorry, I can't talk. What I did was I just duplicated the button and made the second box a little darker. So it's all different, kinds of stuff you can do. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Again, literally all we're doing is just using rectangles. You see how easy this is? Different sizes, different positions on the page, but that's all we're doing. So all I'm going to do is duplicate one more time, Control J. Right? I'm going to hold Control T on my keyboard to bring up the transform, or conversely, I can also go to Edit, Transform Path, Scale. Right? Boom. Now I'm going to resize it to look like the button we have over on the other window. I'm just going to bring this here, bring that there, bring this here, bring this here. Alt to drag from both edges at the same time. That should be fine. All I'm going to do now is align this to the middle of my banner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control click on this icon to bring up the dancing ants. We've done this before, right? Then I'm going to click V on my keyboard, and I'm going to click Align Vertical Center. Boom, right in the middle. I'm going to rename this to Button. Right? And then I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to press U on my keyboard. Again, all this has right now is a stroke. The only reason you're seeing the green underneath it is because we have a green background. So what do we want? We want a fill and no stroke, right? So I'm going to come back here, select a random color, and I'm going to turn the stroke off. Now I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call the top one Button. I'm going to leave the top one set to Button. I'm going to call the bottom one Button Shadow. I'm going to nudge the bottom one to the right and downward just a smidgen. So I'm holding Shift on my keyboard, and I'm tapping the right arrow key a few times. Let's take a look. One. I did one to the right. I'm going to do one downward. Shift, holding down Shift, one. All I'm going to do now is make this a little darker so that it looks like it's a shadow of some sort. How do I do this? I come over here to Color Overlay, not Satin. Let's uncheck that. I'm going to click this, going to select Brightness, and I'm going to drag this down. Let me move this out of the way. Drag it down until it's, there we go. Just a little bit, right? That's perfect. Now, this is a bit too far from the actual button, and this isn't bad, but I'm going to nudge it in just a little bit. Now, I'm not going to be holding down Shift this time. I'm just going to be using the arrow keys, right? So I'll do 1, 2 to the left, 1, 2, upward. Now I want to align both of these to the center of my banner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a group, Control G. I'm going to call that Button. And I'm sorry if there's like a siren in the background. Like I said before, I live, my apartment faces a highway, or a main road, you can call it. So there's a lot of traffic going on here. I do apologize. But this, believe it or not, is the most quiet, room in my house to record. But I am moving soon, like I said before. In any case, Control click on background. I'm going to hold down Button, and then Align Vertical Center, just so it's perfectly aligned into the center, right? So we have our main shapes down already. Everything's down. Now we're going to be adding in the text. Okay. Again, I'm going to create a text box. I pressed T on my keyboard to bring up the text tool, and I'm just going to drag outward like this, and I'll do main. No, well, we have our title. It's the affiliate 3000. Again, the reason you're not seeing the 3000 is because the text box is too small. Drag it down. 3000. There we go. Now we have enough space, so we can try to fit all this on one line. Sometimes typographically, it looks better for me to have the 3000 here in the middle, but we can fit everything on one line, kind of like how we did here. Obviously, we don't have the 3000 in this title. I just call it the affiliate, but that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll hold the edges of the text box, holding down Alt. I'll click, and I'll drag outward, which will cause it to drag in both directions. That's good enough. I'm going to decrease the size of this just a little bit. Right? And I'll bring the text box up like this, bring it in like that, and boom. There we go. What am I going to do? I'm going to duplicate it. So I'll call this one main title. Duplicate. I'll leave the top one set to main title, the bottom one subtitle. Alright. Shift on my keyboard, tapping the down arrow just a few times. Boom, 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 boom. I'll change the font to a thinner font. Whoa, what's going on here? I did not want that to happen. Drag this down because I need more text, because this text is going to be smaller. I wonder what size this one looks like. It's 28 pixels, and I'll just copy this. I'll cheat a little bit. Copy. And this is, instead of extra bold, Montserrat, this is regular. So regular, Control V, paste. Right? Now all we need is our text and our button. Again, duplicate, Control J, holding down Shift, so that if I don't hold down Shift, it's going to move boom, 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 boom. I don't want that. I want it to move in a straight line, so I'm holding down Shift. All right. Then I'm going to readjust the size of my text box so that it fits inside of the button, making use of the Alt key. Bringing this down just a smidgen. Select all. Let's play with that size a little bit. Actually, let's change the text first. All we need is click here. Boom. Let's bring this up. Nice and big. That's our call to action. That's what's going to be driving the action. That's big enough. All I'm going to do now is, let's bring it in just a little bit. I'm going to hold down, Control click on the top button layer. So this button here, because I want to align the text with the top layer only, obviously. And the reason, hopefully it's obvious, because this is the top layer and I want it to be in the middle of the top layer, not the middle of the background layer. So I'm going to hold and click Shift. I'm holding Shift, sorry, and I'm clicking this. And I'm clicking V on my keyboard. Vertically align, horizontally align. Now you might think to yourself, well, why isn't it exactly in the middle of the box? It looks like it's still towards the top. That's because our text box, if you look at it, it's aligning this by the size of the text box. So what I'll do is I'll bring my text box just to the point before the here vanishes. Boom. Now I'll realign it. There we go. All right. All we're missing now is what? Our pattern. That's it. Right? And this is how you would use it. All you do is I take the pattern. So let me actually open up. Let's open it up. The money pattern. Where am I looking? Here, here, ebook cover, PowerPoint. Let's say this is the main money pattern that we grabbed from freepik.com. All I do is I drag it over here. I'd rotate it. Right? And then I bring it downward just above the background. And now all I do is I trim the pattern. Because if you look at it right now, the pattern is stretching all the way outside of the canvas. We don't need that. And the reason I'm trimming it is because the image size is too big. It's 5.3 megabytes. So take a look. I'm going to click trim with the pattern selected. Take a look at the bottom here. This 5.33, it's going to change Hopefully we can get this down to three or 2 or even a few kilobytes, a few hundred kilobytes. Let's see, 2.9. And there's other stuff I can change here. But mainly images are the things that are going to bring your size up by a lot. The resolution as well, but that's fine. A 3 megabyte, banner. And keep in mind, the Photoshop document is 3 megabytes. An image would be just a few kilobytes. Let me show you. So I'll actually go here. So this is our banner. We're done with our banner, right? What I'll do is I'll come up to File, Save As, and I'll save it as a PNG. Okay, save. Let's see how big it is. Let's check the size out. Let's see. 58 kilobytes, right? So it's definitely small enough. Definitely small enough. Right, and that's how you create the first one. We can move the different sizes, literally the same thing. I'm just resizing it. So if we come over here, same exact thing. It's just that everything is a different size. The boxes are a different size, but it's literally the same exact thing. The text boxes, I resized them a little bit to align it properly. The text is smaller, but all I did was resize it. And we have 5 total, like I said before, banner sizes. So you can go to your JVs like, hey man, banners are ready to go, no worries. The quicker you can mail for me, the quicker I can the quicker I can get you these banners, the quicker you can mail for me. Right? This one, we had to chop information in half along 2 lines because I'd have to make it too small for it to fit on 1 line. So this is fine because it only happens in this banner, so that's fine. We had to make a little typographical sacrifice, and no worries. So you see, different sizes. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Now I want to show you something quickly. How to animate the button on your banner. Not that hard. As we all know, animated GIFs, the click-through rates tend to be higher than static banners. How do you do that? If my buttons weren't already in a group, I'd want to get them in a group. All right? But they're already in a group. Well, actually, let's come over here to the one we designed together. Button. So as you can see, the only thing that's in the group called button over here are the green squares. I want the text to be in there as well. I want to click here to be in here as well, so I'll just drag it in. And the reason I put this all in one group, the first reason I did it was to align it properly, but the second reason is to animate it. Very easy. All we're going to be doing is telling Photoshop, turn this on, then turn it off at 0.5 second intervals. So it's going to look like this. This is basically what we're telling Photoshop to do automatically. That's how we're going to be animating this. What we're going to do, come up towards window here. I'm going to scroll down to timeline. Right? And this is where we want to be. Wait, is it timeline or 1 second? Should be timeline, unless they changed it. There should be an icon here to create a new... Oh, there we go. Okay. So all I clicked was create frame animation. It's supposed to be selected already, but okay. So as you can see, this is our frame here. Animation works by frames. Every single animation you look at on television, cartoons, basically the old school way of doing it, they draw the cartoon on a page, on multiple pages, and really quickly flip through the pages. That's the basic principle of animation. That's kind of what we're doing here in a digital form, right? So we have our first frame with the click button. The button here visible. I'm going to duplicate this by clicking new. I'm going to duplicate this frame here by clicking new. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to say, for these 2 frames, can I drag this up a little bit? Nope, it's fine. For these 2 frames, I want them to be at 0.5 second intervals. On the second frame, however, I want the button to be not visible. So let's click play. Boom. 1 second. I want this to loop around. So right down here where it says once, I'll click forever. Let's try that again. If I want to make it blink faster, I'll just bring down the interval. I might do other, and I might do 0.35. See that? But 5 is pretty good. I tend to stay at 5, to be honest. I tend to stay at 5. Let's bring it back to 0.5, sorry. 0.5 seconds. 5 would be way too long. Now, how do I save this as a GIF? I come over here, I click export. I do save for web, legacy. I come over here, I do GIF. I come over here, I say save. Let's save it on the desktop. Let's create it animate. Let's call it animated banner. I do save. Come over here. Here it is. Let's open it in Photos. Boom. Right there. Animated banner. And then we also have our static banner. So you go to your JVs, you're like, hey, I've got static and animated banners for you. The animated ones are going to increase your click-through rate. Go ahead and, everything's ready to go. Have a successful launch, whatever, right? So that's how you create an animated banner in Photoshop. Just group the button layer together. Create a frame. Create 2 frames. The first frame, have the button visible. Second frame, have it non-visible. And again, all I'm doing is pressing this eyeball button to toggle with the visibility. All right? So this has been video number 8, how to create a banner in Photoshop. I'm going to see you in video number 9, where I show you how to create this very same banner in PowerPoint. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care.